You can get with someone, begin to spend your life with that person, and they're not on that same page. So now all that you work to get together is in danger. And I'll tell you something, this is just honesty. Love is great. Love is hard to see when there are money problems. Okay? I know they say, I'll be in love, we can get through it. The divorce rate, unfortunately, is high as it is for a reason. Because those are the type of things that breaks bonds when they don't intend to go in, you don't intend to go into a relationship that way. So something you have to keep in mind is who you allow to come into your space, who you allow to be in your world with you. And I'm not saying when you meet a person, you sit down and you fill out a form which says, okay, how much do you have in the bank account? How much debt do you have? How much student loans? I'm not saying that. Don't scare somebody away. Like, don't do that. But I will tell you, there are ways to get insight to these things without being invasive. You want to know how? Oh, you do want to know how. It's okay. Well, think about this. If I was to come up to you, we didn't know each other. Not me, I was going to say some person. I don't want to say that. Some person came up to you, and you guys decided to start dating. You didn't know the person. It wasn't a childhood friend, someone who you know their background. This is a person you're just getting to meet. You met, you talked a little bit, and you're going out on your first date. Okay? So you're out on your first date, and of course you need to talk about something. You're going to have some type of conversation. So I'm going to give you a couple basic questions, which actually will give you a little bit of insight to what someone's going through. It won't give you everything, but it will give you a little bit of picture. And I'm going to tell you why I know these things. I know these things because when I was trained as a credit analyst to actually analyze people's spending habits, to look at things beyond the credit bureau, to give you some insight on their spending. And this is something that I'll let you know when you apply for a loan, this is what we're doing. We're not just looking at the paperwork. We're actually looking at different variables in your life and actually making a determination on how creditworthy you are. That same thing can be done while you're dating, to an extent. Okay, you can't ask, I'm not saying that's your credit bureau. But a couple things I want you to keep in mind. If you ask someone, how long have you lived in this area? When did you come to this area? That's an important question. It may not seem like it has anything to do with finances, but it does. The reason being is because what we find in the credit world, people that move often and that are not in a job that requires that, you're not in a service, you're not in somewhere where you have to frequently travel. When you move a lot, that means you have to go through a financial reset. That doesn't mean a negative or positive. Remember, I'm not looking for bad or good. I'm saying that someone that's new to an area, more than likely is going through a financial reset. Meaning they are finding a new job, they're finding a new place, so they have certain expenses that are coming their way as soon as they move. So that's something to keep in mind when you're dealing with someone like that, because they're reestablishing themselves. Why they are reestablishing themselves will come up with time. But it's a good idea to understand that that person's capabilities may be different now than it is a year or two from now because they just reestablished themselves. Now that question didn't sound invasive, did it? That was really surface level, right? So just by asking that question, you didn't hurt anybody's feelings. And certainly you didn't get a lot, but you got just a little bit. Things like that are basic questions are good to ask. Of course you're going to ask somebody what they do for a living. What someone does for a living does not indicate how much money they make. Keep that in mind. So I can say to you, I'm a lawyer. That does not mean I have a lot of money. That does not mean I don't have debt problems. I can say I'm a doctor. That doesn't mean anything either. So when people come out and say what they do for a living, I'm saying don't put too much weight on that when you're trying to determine how well a person is financially and if they are going to mesh with you. A bigger thing that you can pay attention to is when you first started dating or you're dealing with anything, does that person like to pay all the time for dates? Do they like to always pay for everything? If a person likes to pay for everything, what do you think that might indicate?
Spending time.
No, not spending probably.
They're comfortable with spending that much. Like they have the money to do that for you all the time.
That's a little bit, but not quite that. What it means typically is that a person is used to handling their money. They actually pay attention to their money. So if you get a relationship with that person, they may want to handle your money because they're used to handling all the money. Now, that's not bad or good. It's more saying, is that comfortable with you? Are you comfortable with that? Are you not comfortable with that? It's small. But see, when you start evaluating people and making sure and seeing if they fit with you financially, don't focus too much on how much a person makes. It's more about what you're comfortable with. Some people are comfortable with letting others handle their finances. Some people want to handle their own finances. But these things make a difference when you get further down the road and you actually begin to build a life with someone. So definitely pay attention. And if you go further on, there's nothing wrong with having credit checks and, checking someone's background. That information is readily available. But I'm just saying that do your due diligence, because all that we spoke about today can be in danger if you don't choose a person that fits you financially. And remember, that's not about income. That's totally about your habits. And the other part is, before you get to do that, guess what you have to know first? You have to know your own habits. So before you look out to anyone else, know who you are financially. Know if you're a saver, admit you're a saver. If you're not, you're a spender, admit you're a spender. That's just what you are. I'm not saying bad or good again, but too often we're talking bad or good. Like, you shouldn't be a spender, you shouldn't be that. No, be who you are, but understand who you are and accept it. And once you accept it, it's easier to communicate that with another person. So from the beginning, if you're dating someone, you're like, look, I like to shop, and I like to do it so often. Okay. That's up to that person to be okay with that or not. And if they're okay with that, you put that out there. So keep all these things in mind. You have these sheets I definitely want you to take home. I definitely want you to look over these things. For all of you today, I'm going to give you a free copy of my new book. Okay, that's the relationship edition, which is going to give you a lot more insight when it comes to actually evaluating how compatible someone is with you. It goes all the way from dating to marriage to give you some insight on it. So I'm going to give you that free. And my first book is called Did Everything But Think. It's on Amazon. Right now, the Kindle version or the ebook version is free. So if you have an Amazon.com account, you don't have to have a Kindle. You just have to have a tablet. You just have to have your computer. You can download it for free today. And that book is more about paying your college debt, student loan debts, how much it costs to get your first home, first car, all these different expenses. It's called Did Everything But Think. In fact, even if you go on Amazon, you just look up Joseph Lorick, my 2 books will come up. So I did that for y'all, so you guys can have it for free. But I want you to really read it, because I can only speak to you for 45 minutes, 30 minutes. There's a lot more to this. And you have to do your research to really understand. Because ultimately, I want 5 to 10 years from now, I want all of you to think back to this moment and say, you know what, I'm glad I sat in that class or I sat in that session for a few minutes. Because it just helped either reaffirm some things I knew or help give me some good ideas and make me think about some things before I make decisions, because I almost messed up. Okay, I don't want you to mess up, I want you to almost mess up. So before I finish, if you have any questions when it comes to, also I can answer any questions with any banking, mortgage, auto loans, those, I don't speak about those things because they aren't as interesting to speak about, but I can answer questions in regards to any of these things. So if you guys have any questions that you would like to ask.
You said that the average loan for a student in college, once they get their job payback, would be about the highest would be $240.
Payment-wise, yeah.
Yeah, per month. How much of loans would?
That's based on 25,000, which is the average. No, 25,000 total student loan amount, and having to make a minimal payment will be around $250.